Hi. Well, I'm excited because I just purchased my first router lift, and I'm really excited to get this installed in my router table. I went with the Jessem Mast-R-Lift II model. Well, let's see what's in the box. Well, first thing, not much exciting here is the inserts. I did buy the set of 4. The unit comes with 1 apparently. And not too much to see here. Thought it'd be worthwhile to have the set. Might as well. I do think it's kind of lame that they don't give those to you. Instead they get an extra 35 bucks or so for these. Oh well. Alright, let's see the good stuff here. Oh, sorry for the interruption there. My camera stopped recording. Let's see, I think when it stopped I was just pulling out the bubble wrap, which also had some parts inside, and then the installation manual at the bottom. And then here's the main unit. Let me zoom in a bit on this. Well, everything looks beautifully made, which I was expecting. That's why I purchased it. And yeah, this looks great. Definitely looks robust, and there's nothing to assemble. It's really going to be a process of routing the hole in my table and dropping it in. And if you're looking at this video, you've probably seen the Jessem video. They show how to install the router. I'm going to be showing how I fabricate the top of my router. Probably won't show too much about installing the router in here, since it looks pretty simple. Just dropping the router in and tightening a bolt, I believe. Actually, I forgot to show everything. Let's take a look at what's in the bubble wrap. Alright, this is the tool for installing and removing the plates, and this is the one that they provide you inside this bag. And this looks like it's made out of that engineered plastic. Doesn't look like it'll break anytime soon. The one included inserts, a starter pin, and a couple Allen wrenches, and screws and set screws, which I believe are mostly for attaching the unit to your router table and leveling it. And then here is your tool for raising and lowering the router. Looks like, again, it's made from the engineered plastic. Actually, I kind of think this would have been nice if it had been all metal. They could have, it's kind of a, it kind of comes across as a bit of a cheap knob. It could have been maybe a little slick if they'd made this out of brass, something a little better. I mean, this is the engineered plastic, and this is the El Cheapo plastic. That's the impression I get. So that's that. This is my router table that I'll be replacing the top with. For these kind of little work tables, I really like to use 1-inch thick melamine. It's really stout stuff, much more so than the 3/4 inch that you'll typically find. But if you go to a lumber yard, you can find the 1-inch thick. And then I'll be making the same as this with 1/4 inch poplar edging. Be transferring the miter slot to the table, and of course inserting the new lift here. So next, on to the fabrication of the new top. I finished the long edges using my router jig, which works great. But I tell you, over time, I get I'm less enamored to using the router for these kind of operations. Not because it doesn't work, but it just generates so much sawdust. I have to wear my mask when I'm doing the work, and then the workshop is just filled with dust for the next couple hours, and so I usually end up leaving. So lately I've just been taking to using my hand tools if I can get the work done without turning on a beast like this. It just fills the air with sawdust. So for these shorter pieces here, I'm going to be using my roughing jack plane to hog off most of the material. When I get down to about 1/32 of an inch, I'll transition to my block plane, and it goes pretty quick. I've completed the top, and it's now ready to get the lift installed. But before I do that, in my nice top, I'm going to do a practice run on this leftover piece. And that's just so I can make sure the template that I make works as I expect, and the other techniques I'm going to apply, that they work. It won't take that much time to do the practice run, and hopefully I'll be able to avoid any mistakes in the nice top. Now the manual really is focused on installing your router into the lift. They dedicate about a paragraph for installing the lift in your top. And essentially what they say is install a lift in the top that you've bought from them. They make a passing remark that if you're going to install this in your own top, to see the dealer where you bought the lift for some available templates. Now you can download this manual from their website. If they did have actually templates, I don't know why they wouldn't just make them available on their website. So I'm dubious at whether any additional templates exist. It doesn't matter for me, but I know that some people would probably appreciate having some kind of a template that they could use to make their fixture for installing the lift. All right, well, let's install this in this test top here. And that's pretty good. The shooting board allows me to just work up to a perfect fit. And that's great. So I'm going to use pocket hose to join this frame together, and then I'll be able to route the final inset for this. I'm using duct tape to secure this to the top. Since I don't have any way to clamp it, this should work fine. I'm just aligning it to some pencil marks I already made. For the bit, I'm using a pattern bit with the bearing on the top. And in this case, I had to go out and buy a 5/8 inch diameter bit. And that matches the radius on the corners of the rudder lift. And like on the previous lift I had, I think I used a 1/4 inch bit because it had much smaller radius corners. I've mounted the plate, and of course I really have to laugh at myself. The fit is beautiful except for the corners. I was, which kind of surprised me until I realized my mistake. So I'd measured this as 5/8 inch. So what did I do? I went out and bought a 5/8 inch diameter pattern bit, when I really should have bought an 1.25 inch pattern bit. So what do? Well, I haven't seen this, seen the plate mounted. I don't think it looks okay for me. Otherwise, I really wanted to finish this. I'd have to wait a few days to get one of those bits, and it cost me 35 bucks. So I'm just gonna live with it. I'll probably fill it after I secure the plate in the table. I'll probably fill that in just so it doesn't collect dust, and then it'll just be a reminder to me every time I use it to make sure you use radius or diameter correctly when ordering router bits. So the last thing I got to do now is I'm going to use a transfer punch to locate the positions for the holes that I'll be using to bolt this in. But the fit otherwise is absolutely snug, zero play. So that template worked great. Right, well, I'm going to go off and install this in the actual top, and then we'll go from there. Well, it's installed. It took me 15 to 30 minutes to fully level the plate in the top. It takes 4 bolts in the one for each corner. They supply the bolts, but not any nuts or anything, because again they intend you to insert this in their tabletop. But I just used a lock washer and a nut to back them up. And then there are 10 set screws around the perimeter that you have to adjust to level it, and then as you tighten down on the bolts, that changes the level a bit. So it's a little finicky, but again, didn't take me too long, and I have a nice level surface now. They give you a starter pin, and at first I was a little disappointed because it's actually a screw that you have to screw in one of these 2 holes. And my previous plate, there was a pin. I thought that would be much more convenient, but you don't really need a screwdriver to put this in, and it's pretty quick. And actually, now that I've seen it, it's I think I do prefer this because it's more secure. Let's see. So I did buy the set of inserts. I think this is the one they give you, and it really does work slick. It's nice and quick, and no hassle to put it in. So it's definitely cool. Now the set that I bought, I didn't realize at the time, but one of them does take the portal cable guide bushings. So that's kind of cool. I guess it's an option. It's an option to have, but I don't think I've ever actually used a guide bushing in my router table before, but it's an option. And that's that. Well, I tell you, this is going to be so nice compared to my old setup, to be able to change the bits above the table. Oh, so nice. Because I used to have to undo the stiff bolt on the router, unplug it, unwind it, and this is a 3 horsepower router, heavy. So and then carefully remove it, take it over the bench, change the bit, do the reverse. I know it for sure. It kept me from using my router table as much as I would like to, just because of that hassle. So this is just going to be so nice. The last thing I wanted to show you is the accuracy of the lift. Now the graduations on this dial allow you to adjust the position by 1/1000th of an inch. So I'm going to set up my dial gauge and show you what I found. I've calibrated my dial indicator, and I have this set at a mark. Now I realized before I said each graduation that you adjust it by thousandths, but actually it's each mark is 2/1000ths of an inch. But you can actually adjust it just half a mark. You got 1/1000th of an inch. So let me adjust it by half of a mark, and you'll see we got 1/1000th of an inch on the indicator. If I go 4 marks, it should be 8/1000ths of an inch, and just about there. So it is accurate, and it's repeatable. Now there is backlash in the mechanism here. So if I want to lower the bit by, say, 2/1000 of an inch, if I go backwards, nothing really happens there because there's backlash. What you have to do is go back about half a turn and then go forward until you get to the mark where you want. So it's repeatable. Here I went back to my 0 mark. So it's a bit slight inconvenience, but ultimately it is accurate. Now I never need to adjust my heights by 1/1000th of an inch, but it is nice to know that these indications are accurate, just as long as you take into consideration the backlash if you're lowering the bit by a set amount. Well, that concludes my review and installation of the Jessem router lift. I'm really going to enjoy using this. All I need to do now is a channel for my miter slot that I need to reinstall, and I'll be all set. Thanks for stopping by.